Hi everyone, thanks for joining me today. Today I want to talk about autism and special needs and COVID-19, specifically about creating a routine. You might have seen my last video. If not, check it out on autism, special needs, and keeping a calm and peaceful home during this time. And both of these videos that I did can be used anytime that your kids are at home. Weekends, holidays, summer vacation, whenever you see fit. So routine, and the way that I'm going to talk about it today is different than a schedule. It's not as set as a schedule is. I see schedule as being at school. School starts at 7:45. At 8:30, they do social studies. 9 o'clock, they have recess. Everything is very set. I see a routine as being flexible. It can have different faces as you go along in your day and your week. Like if your child doesn't want to do something, that's okay. You can move on to something else. So it kind of has an ebb and a flex to it. Then different kids have different needs. So some kids have a really strict schedule that have autism. Usually that's the case, and that helps them thrive. A schedule that they know what's coming helps them a lot. Jeremiah is one of the kiddos that does not have a set schedule, but he does need consistency within some routines. So his lunchtime routine and his bedtime routine, for example, those are both pretty set. We do the same thing every day. I did not want to create a schedule for you because I know that you already probably have schedules and you don't need something else, but I want to give you ideas to incorporate that will help you. So first, try to keep as much of your schedule routine the same as possible. Think pre-pandemic. For example, keep your morning routine the same. If your child is used to being on the TV in the morning, or maybe they get up and eat breakfast first and they play on their iPad, introduce these new activities slowly. This is going to be a key word that I talk about is slowly, so keep that in mind as I move forward. So I'm going to talk about a sensory diet. Some of you may know what that is already. This can and should be part of your routine, especially when your children are stuck at home. And some of you are actually getting back to life, so that's really exciting. But like I said, these things can be used anytime. I've written articles about sensory issues and what to do with them, but I'll try to be brief here and explain it a little in a short manner, hopefully. And then you can go ahead and check out loveandadoptin.com and find I have lots of articles on autism and adoption that can help you with your kids. So a sensory diet is basically providing your children's sensory needs. Some people schedule this. So they will meet their children's sensory needs at a specific times throughout the day. So say every half hour they do something. They take their child outside at 8 o'clock and they jump on the trampoline. Then at 8:30 they go and swing. Then at 9 o'clock, say they come inside and they get comfy underneath a blanket. Then some people need to guide their children to what they think would be an option for them. So say just you have an idea what your kid needs and you take them there. And sometimes children know what their bodies need and they can meet their sensory needs on their own. So that's letting the child lead. We have been through all of these stages with Jeremiah, and right now, except we never did the scheduling with him. We never did at a certain time we do this. We have offered him things, but we didn't have a set schedule. So Like right now, Jeremiah knows what he needs to do for the most part for himself, and he will meet those needs on his own. If he needs to jump, he will go outside to the trampoline. If he needs to swing, he'll do that. And sometimes we need to step in and help him because he's really agitated, irritated. Maybe his movie is making him upset because he watches the same movies over, just if he could daily. So these movies start to irritate him. We know that's when that's happening. Maybe he needs to take a break in his room. Maybe he needs to do a different activity. So that's what he's like. There's all differences. Now, all this depends on your child's sensory needs. We have kids who need lots of input. They need lights, they need to jump, they need to run, they need weighted blankets. We also have kids who need less input. They want to avoid the sounds and the smells and the sights that you probably don't notice. One time when Jeremiah was younger, he was outside and he was hanging out doing his type of play, which was jumping on the trampoline. And then he was in the yard and he stopped all of a sudden and he was really irritated. And I didn't notice anything was different. And I stopped and I listened real quietly, and really far off, I heard a mower running. So that was probably what was bothering him, but a lot of times we don't notice those things. And then then Jeremiah also, between these two sensory needs of needing a lot of input and needing less input, kind of getting away from everything, he vacillates between the two. So that can be interesting, but hopefully some of these ideas will help. So some ideas to incorporate into your routine and some sensory ideas. So you can add one of these activities and then you can do it for 2-3 days, or you can add one of these activities and do it a couple times a day, do it for 2-3 days, or maybe do it for 2 days and then add another one. So it kind of depends on how your kid's doing, how you're doing with it. If you're anything like a lot of autism families, you are well aware of the lure of TVs, iPads, and gaming systems. If your child likes these, I would recommend setting time limits on them. However, if this is something that you have not done before, take it slow. There's that word again, slow. So you can say, I would not warn them before they start the activity that you're going to stop it early or you're going to have a set time limit, because that's just going to create anxiety through the whole activity, through the whole time. So you can let them know, say 5 minutes before you're going to end, that you're going to end it in 5 minutes, and then warn them again at, say, 3 minutes, and then again at 1 minute. Give them plenty of warning, but not too far ahead in advance. And also make sure that the activity you're going to do after that is something that they enjoy, something that's inviting. If they hate reading, you don't want to say, next, we're going to sit on the couch and we're going to read. So consider alternating these activities with something physical that meets their sensory needs and then something relaxing. Well, it's not going to probably be real relaxing, but maybe you can try to get them to do something quiet or calm. And I can envision many of you rolling your eyes at me as I mention some of these ideas, because I've been there, as I mentioned, things that your kids can do. I've been there. I get it. Your autistic kids have specific interests. You know the questions. Have you tried feeding your child vegetables? No, never dawned on me. Or say, will they play with Legos? Or will they play with matchbook cars? No, 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 no. You've tried these things, and you've tried hundreds of things that therapists and other parents have mentioned to you, and you end up sitting on the floor by yourself with the matchbox cars, and you're wondering what you did wrong. So with this awareness, please know that I understand that not all of this will work for you, but if 10% of it works, that's wonderful, and it's a start. So as I mentioned these ideas, think about your child's strengths. That's going to be like the second important word is strengths. We really need to play off our children's strengths because that's what's going to work best. So first, we want to get outside. If your state will allow you to walk out your front door, go ahead. If you have a yard, run in circles. If you have access to a swing or a trampoline, take advantage of them. They're really helpful for our kiddos. Have them bounce a basketball if they can. Go for a walk, ride a bike. If you have access to state parks, go out and enjoy nature. Enjoy it however you can because you need sun and you need fresh air. You can then go inside and read a book aloud. You can take turns, like if you have other kids who can read, you can take turns reading. I talked about this in my last post about calm and peace in the home. Jeremiah loves when we read aloud, and it can calm him down sometimes, and he's really interested when we're reading. So it might be something you could try. Jeremiah goes through phases. He used to look at books all the time, just flip pages after page in the same books. Then he lost interest in them completely, and now he'll listen to us read. So you can just pull out things and try them. When I talk to nurses at the hospital about autism, I'm like, you're going to have a bag of tricks and you're going to pull things out and you're going to try them, and you might be stuffing things back in and pulling them out. So you're going to just try things and you're going to try it again later, see if it will work. So when you're reading books, get comfy. Maybe let your child have a thicker blanket to put over them. They can block out noise, like a little bit of noise, but light. If they want, you can give them a light, a flashlight or something under the blanket. And for read alouds, a lot of authors are doing reading via video for free. And NASA astronauts are reading books from space, which is super cool. So if your kids like astronauts or are into space, that could be really awesome. You can also meet your child's sensory needs with fidget toys. We have lots of these, and I wanted to show you some of them to give you an example. So bubbles. Bubbles are awesome. So you can play with bubbles. You can, this is supposed to have more air in it. Ours always run out of air right away. So, but this kind of light up toy, I see it flashing. Then these are some that clicks together. They might like that. Like I said, this all depends on your kid, and they might have an interest in something and then they don't. So this is cool. I got like 3 of these. I think they came in a pack. Not too expensive, off of Amazon. And later I'm going to mention Fun and Function and their school specialty store. Their stuff is really nice, but it can also get expensive. So I understand that. So some things you just want to be careful if they're going to put it in their mouths where you get it from. So you can have them turn the lights off and on. You can roll them in a blanket. A lot of therapists use this technique with kids. They have them pretend they're a hot dog, and they roll them up in a blanket, and then like put on the bun, and then they put on the ketchup, and they press as they go down. And that helps with the sensory input. And you can do mustard or whatever they like on their hot dog. You can do pickles, and so that you would like pat down as you go. Another idea is you can get in the car, go on a drive. So even if you're pandemic in it, you can go for a drive. That might help. Kind of just vary the day. Stuck at home, go for a drive. Getting in touch with nature, like I mentioned nature earlier, it really helps to calm our souls. So get outside, be active. You can do a scavenger hunt with your kids, so it's not just let's go outside. You can have them find a flower, or how many birds can they see. You can spin together in circles, laugh, have fun. When you're inside, you can have your child lay down on the floor, like a tiled floor or a wood floor, and you can hold their ankles and push and pull them on the floor. Jeremiah loves that. We also spin him in circles. He loves that too. Your child can bounce on an exercise ball. Like I don't know what we would do if we didn't have our exercise ball. We'd have to go get a new one unless they were sold out, like pandemic time, seems like everything is sold out. But so exercise balls are awesome. Listen to calm music or music they like. And if you live in an apartment and it's hard to get outside, if you have a balcony, or you can even do this out a window, you can play I Spy. You can have them look for things that are moving, like find the red truck, or do you see the bird? And if your kids are into birds, what kind is it? And just kind of make some learning experiences out of that, because I know some of you are trying to do like a homeschool at home. So remember to play off your child's strengths. Okay, if I were to have Jeremiah say, spend some time coloring right now, he would not do it. He would hate it. He hates coloring. He hates writing. So you want to go with what your children like in some way. To start off, you can introduce things. Like I said, do it slowly, see what they like. And then don't be afraid to try it again in a few days, because maybe it was just the introduction of something new that set them off, and maybe that will work again later. So I will link to a great article by that Fun and Function company that I mentioned. It lists 7 types of sensory needs, and they have a few ideas on what you can do to meet each need. They have more information. So I will link to that. So thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you are all doing well. Thanks.